Presenting the Powertec router table and fence, an excellent way to add functionality to your router. Most folks looking at one of these probably has routing straight grooves in mind. With the fence and the featherboard attachment, this can be done with great precision. But that's not everything. You might also be using the Powertec router table and fence as a vertical joiner, or for routing curved edges with great accuracy, or maybe even adding a miter gauge and making precise, repetitive angle cuts. There's a lot of versatility here, and we'll be looking at all of these functions later. The table is that easy to assemble. The legs, supports, and work surface all attach with the provided nuts, bolts, and washers. No power tools required. What you will need is a Phillips screwdriver and an adjustable wrench. That's it. Concerning router compatibility, the base plate has lettered center points using drill patterns for the most common routers. However, if you find yourself with an incompatible router, there's still a few workarounds. You can use your router's sub-base plate as a template to drill through the router table's insert plate. This is actually all explained in detail in the table manual. It's just a few extra steps. Fully adjustable components means everything moves and also locks in place. Starting with the fence itself, which can slide forwards and backwards up to the bit and can be locked firmly in place where needed. You can also add various jigs to the fence, like stops and featherboards, which can be locked in place on the fence track. There's also a miter track, which can be used to add a miter gauge or maybe even a featherboard. Using the Powertec router table and fence, cutting straight grooves is more accurate than trying to do this freehand. The depth stays consistent and you can keep both hands on the workpiece. But straight grooves are just the beginning. Say you want to join two boards as part of a tabletop. Typically, edge planing will be done with a jointer. If you don't happen to have one, well, that's when a router table can step in. By inserting the included packing rods into the grooves between the aluminum and MDF, the offset fence can be brought forward slightly, effectively turning the router table into a jointer. For routing curved edges, start by removing the fence. The Powertec router table and fence comes with a start pin, which locks into place on the router table. Use the start pin as a lever to ease the workpiece into the router bit. This stops the workpiece from catching on the router bit and flying away in that fraction of a second before the workpiece makes contact with the bit bearing. The included miter track allows the addition of all sorts of extra jigs, including, yes, a miter gauge. Now you can effortlessly make consistent, precisely angled cuts on multiple pieces of wood. Using a router table adds functionality to your router and increases workshop safety, as there's a stable platform to work on and you have much more control when routing. For dust management, the Powertec router table and fence also comes with a dust port, which can be hooked up to a vac or single-stage dust collector. Thank you for watching. Work safe, folks.